workers that showed up at the office to protest having to come back to work at the office.
God created the world, everything else is made in China.
But I want to get back to the American media. They don't know it because they hate Trump so much. Okay. They never report the truth. They never report the big picture. They never give you the danger of China, ever.
Ever. Good morning. It's 8:07 on News Talk 107.9, the Neil Larson Show. Ever. And I love that punctuation point right at the end for Bill O'Reilly. He is exactly right. Ever. They don't. They are constantly. You'd think they'd learn, Julie. You'd think that losing their audience, losing their subscribers, losing their, the advertise. You would think that they would learn. Maybe we shouldn't be so overt in our hatred for America and our hatred for Donald Trump. But they don't learn.
I don't think it's possible. I think that you continue to see the Democrat Party and, by extension, the mainstream, the legacy media.
Yeah.
They're just continuing in a pattern that they can't see lost them the game.
Right. Yeah.
And that makes no sense because there's lots of sporting events where it's not one and done. You get like a series of games and it's, the best out of 5 or the best out of 7 or whatever. They can't see that this is a long game and you're going to get another shot here.
Right.
They just keep playing the same plays, the same offense, the same everything.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what they think they're going to get. Why is there going to be a different result?
Well, you know what Epsom salt does to you if you take too much of it.
Yes.
Well, really any of it. But yeah, if you take too much Epsom salt, you get an explosive outcome. We'll just say that.
You might have to clean up some things, but that's okay.
You might. But it's almost like the mainstream, like it's very identifiable why the legacy media has such a diminished influence on American culture now and on the news. And we're like, okay, your constant Trump derangement is the Epsom salt that you keep taking that's giving you your bad result. They have to keep taking the Epsom salt, and I don't understand why. I do, because they're locked in. I don't know if they know how to think any other way now. They've been doing it long enough now. I don't know if they even have what it takes, the capacity to shift gears and go a different direction to rebuild an audience and to rebuild a brand.
So I've actually thought about this for a while, just when you're mulling over culture and how it all goes and everything. And I've thought about the concept that, can we give them any grace? Can we give the mainstream media any grace? Because they've been taking orders from someone, a higher power, for a long time.
Yeah.
We know they have. We've played videos here where they're saying exactly the same verbiage. 20 people, 25 people on in different news outlets saying exactly the same verbiage about something Trump has done. So they're clearly taking orders from somebody in a higher power. So I've thought, do we give them some grace? Because that higher power might still be telling them everything's fine. Just keep doing it. We're going to be able to make it work. Keep saying those things. It's going to be okay. And I don't mean grace like should they do it or should they not do it. No, they're clearly not having respect or integrity for the profession. But do we need to give them grace that somebody's convincing them it's okay to keep playing the same offense? It'll work out the next time?
Possibly. I also think there's a very toxic culture inside the national media, most outlets, where the reporters are probably not as liberal as they are presenting, but they know what they need to do to keep their job. And we've seen examples like Cheryl Atkinson is a good example. She left CBS News because she began to report the truth. What's her name? Catherine Herridge. She's another one that left ABC News, and they confiscated all of her sources that she had gathered and all the material that she had gathered. So you do have some courageous reporters. I think some of them are, how do I phrase this? They lack courage, so they just keep reporting the news to keep their bosses happy, so they can keep getting a paycheck and they can continue in their career. But I do think that if reporters were just left to be themselves, they would still be liberal, but I don't know if we'd be getting the same thing. I think maybe they have to pretend to be Trump deranged to keep their bosses happy.
And it might be self-preservation.
Yes. Yeah.
There could be a mixture of that too. And so maybe that's the grace that if you're going to offer somebody and just be less of a critical human, maybe that's the way you look at it.
Well, I look at it, and the reason why I do extend that consideration is I don't want to believe that they are as deranged as they appear. Mm-hmm. Or as dishonest, or as hypocritical, or plug in the less than flattering modifier there. I want to believe that they're better than that, but they have to make a living, and that's the profession they've chosen. So there are concessions that they have to make.
Okay, so I want to believe that too. I absolutely want to believe that too. But I think we have instances where that's not accurate. And when we do have those instances, I think it's okay to call it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call somebody out in the Boise media right now.
Go for it.
A couple of weeks ago, we shared some information about Maggie O'Mara. Okay, it's KTVB, right? Is her new station. Her personal X account is incredibly liberal.
Yeah.
That is not connected to her profession. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have to do that to keep her job.
Right.
So when they do tell you who they are, you make sure you recognize who they are. You don't have to extend.
True.
You don't have to extend the grace to Maggie O'Mara because it's very clear who she is.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. If you just do a little bit exploring to see who these people are, you can find out pretty quickly if they're truly hardcore Trump deranged liberals or if they're cosplaying as one to keep their nice salary. Right. However, I want to play this clip for you. It made me think of the Chuck Todd clip.
Oh, yeah.
As Trump fondly called him F. Chuck Todd. But he admitted the media was covering up Joe Biden's dementia.
I sit here and I'll defend a little bit of this in that I would argue the reason people were able to come to their own conclusion on Joe Biden is because of the media coverage. You know, look, we were subtle. He's using the back staircase. He's not using the front staircase. Hey, he's not doing any interviews. So there was this reluctance to draw the conclusion to say, is he not doing this? And that I agree with. That was held back a lot. I would argue it was also held back a lot back in the late 80s when it was clear Ronald Reagan wasn't necessarily running everything in the White House.
Okay, that's garbage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reagan's memory started to slip, but what was happening with Reagan is not even close to what we saw. Reagan's last day, he was better than Biden's first day.
Yes. Yeah.
So what an irresponsible comparison for him to make to try to create some kind of equivalency between Ronald Reagan and Joe Biden. That's a garbage take.
It is a garbage take, but they've done it before. There was that time frame there. Again, a memo sent out, some sort of directive from the powers that be to the mainstream media, where we went through about 2 months' time where they tried to say that Trump was fumbling his words.
Oh, yeah.
That Trump was doing the things that Biden was doing. He wasn't. And Reagan was not doing the things that Biden was doing. But I feel like they get these marching orders and then they carry forward, and Chuck Todd makes himself look like an idiot and goes online and says this.
Not to correct you, but it is F. Chuck Todd.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'll make sure I use the appropriate.
Yeah.
But this is just who they are. And I think that the job of people like you, me, conservatives, is to call it out. The more you recognize when they're not having integrity in their profession, the more that it discredits what they do in the future.
Yeah, agreed. Here's the rest of the clip.
Whether you want to call it decorum, whatever you want to call it, look, there were plenty of members of the media. I remember David Ignatius in the Washington Post, plenty of individual people questioning whether he should run. I certainly questioned whether he should run. You didn't understand, there were some of that. But I understand the argument about the collective on that front. The only thing I can chalk it up to is this, whatever you want to call it, this fear that some members of the media had sometimes that they would be perceived as helping Trump if they somehow diminished Biden. right? That it was some sort of zero-sum game. And I think this has been the fundamental mistake that many members of the traditional press have done.
Okay, he just made a stunning admission and confession collectively for the media. Even F. Chuck Todd recognized that the media felt like they needed to help Joe Biden because if they didn't, it was going to be helping Donald Trump. That is not the role of journalism in any way, shape, or form. And he just threw the entire legacy media under the bus.
He did. And already twice, I think, you've mentioned it once, I've mentioned it twice, that there needs to be integrity in this profession, right? That's clear lack of integrity. And you pointed the finger at everybody who didn't have integrity, which is, we could fill a football stadium with the amount of journalists who don't have integrity when it comes to Donald Trump.
Yeah, they can't. And, if there's anything good that comes out of there's a lot of good that's coming out of the Trump presidency. It has been a stunning, what are we, 3 months in now?
3 months in. Mm-hmm.
It has been such a remarkable 3 months in American history and in Trump's second term here. But there's one thing I'm hoping for, and this will sound terrible, but I want to explain it. I hope for the demise of the legacy media. And my hope is that it gets replaced by journalists with some measure of integrity that will truly, and I'm going to use a cliche here, that will report without fear or favor. Mm-hmm. That they will just simply tell us what's going on, what's happening, and portray it accurately. Don't put your thumb on either scale. Just tell the American people what's happening in American politics. And we'll grow the mental muscles we need to handle the fact that sometimes we won't like what's being reported, but sometimes we will. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some. But their level of bias in the media has been very, very disappointing on one level because they're just continuing to take the Epsom salt. And it just is sad. It's encouraging on another because I think it will expedite their demise, creating room for replacement media. And we're seeing it happen right now.
Yeah. And just the last hour, we were talking about AI, right? And the dangers of AI and how you have to be independent enough and not let it control your emotions and things like that. Technology has incredible upsides, incredible downsides. It's a high risk, high reward sort of game that we play with technology. The risk and reward that's awesome is that you have the ability to go find other people. You don't have to rely on 3 major news channels to get everything that you were getting in, say, 1972.
Yeah.
It is a different landscape. It is a different game right now. You can find those people who will be more level-headed. And like you said, if you will be an independent thinker and be able to emotionally evaluate that there's going to be some things I don't agree with, but at least they're telling me the honest truth about what's happening, that's a great relationship with a journalist.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would agree with you. And we've talked about this multiple times before, but when you have guys like Joe Rogan or Tucker Carlson or the Daily Wire, when you have those podcasts, those digital channels that are getting significantly more audience than David Muir on ABC News or whoever's on the other broadcast networks now, that is a seismic shift in the media. And do I share some level of concern that we're kind of returning to the wild, wild west when it comes to the media, where there's lots of misinformation and it's a really dynamic environment where you have to watch for fake news stories and inaccurately reported things? Yes, but you know what? I'll take it because that's part of the journey to get us back to a place where the First Amendment's doing its job, where we have a press that is honestly reporting what's happening.
Mm-hmm. So here's another upside to the way that news is now ingested. Prior to, I'll go back to 1972. That was the year I just used. You got very packaged news, finely tuned, The sentences were edited, everything, and those little packages ran on the nightly news at 6 and 10 or whatever, and that was how you ingested. And then the news stories that you got in your local paper or from the New York Times, they went through several editing phases before they hit print. Like, you got very refined messages. What you get in 2025 is almost stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
What that does for you is you get a better idea of where the journalist's personal ideas lie. So it's a benefit for you. Guess what? It's easier now to figure out who's telling the truth and who's not, because they're just kind of spitting it on the fly. And at times, they're not going to be able to hide things. Chuck Todd was just talking there. His stream of consciousness took over. He let it slip.
Yeah, he did.
And now we know.
Yeah.
Look, you and I don't even try to hide that because we talk stream of consciousness. How many times have you been asked if we have a script when we come here?
All the time.
All the time. There is zero script when Neal and I talk in the morning. Ever. We don't do scripts.
I don't have a script at all, comma, and yeah, right.
Pause for effect.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have scripts. And you know what that means? You and I can't hide who we are.
Yeah, that's true.
People know. There's no doubt.
And man, I wish my mouth had a back button.
But it doesn't. So people have no doubt who we are. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great question. How many of you wish your mouth had a backspace?
Delete.
We had one the other day. A big one. Like, what? All right. It's 8:23 on News Talk 1079 208-542-1079 if you'd like to be a part of the program today. We are going to take a break here very shortly, Julie. But I am very generously and very graciously putting forward an opportunity to all of the hand-wringing pearl clutchers who lamented their 401ks a couple of days ago. Now that the value's been restored, I can't wait to hear you call in and express your relief, your remorse, and your gratitude to Donald J. Trump. So,
if the phone lines are busy, there will be one open up. I promise.
Just keep trying. You'll get through, and we'll let you through. That's coming up. We'll do that in the next hour. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody's going to. Well, you never know.
Maybe somebody will.
I open up the phone lines for Snow White movie reviews thinking we wouldn't get any. And guess what? We had several.
We did.
I'll be right back.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, it's Brad from Now 105.1 and QP99. I'm in the studio here. I love our studios, by the way. Ranger Rick back there. There's Neal and Julie doing their thing. Hey, when you want to advertise on the radio, what do? You call the radio station, right? But what do you do when you want to advertise on Facebook and Instagram and Hulu and Disney Plus and Peacock and the other TV streaming services? You can kind of click around on them and make guesses or read books or take courses online on how to do that advertising. Or you could call us at the radio station. At Sandhill Media, we take care of your local radio and digital marketing. So reach out to us at sandhillmediagroup.com and we'll make sure that your message gets heard and seen wherever your customers are.
All right, 8:20. Can I share a little family moment here with you, Julie?
Yeah.
I just got a group text from my daughter letting us know that it's Eli's birthday. Eli is turning a year. And she said, I know we celebrated him on Sunday because we had the big family thing where we had 3 birthdays that we were celebrating. I know we celebrated him on Sunday, so no pressure if you can't make it, but would love to have you if you can. We're going to have pizza and dessert at our house. His favorite thing right now is garbage, so please bring the most interesting piece of clean, safe garbage you have, and we'll see whose garbage he likes the most. Catalogs, cereal boxes, etc. Let me know if you can make it so we know how many pizzas to get.
Oh, fun.
So we're going to take garbage to our little 1-year-old grandson.
You know how easy it is to get toys that center around garbage now?
Yeah.
My grandson has a whole truck that has a dumpster that goes up and above and dumps, and he puts things in it and dumps it into the garbage truck.
Oh, yeah. And have you ever given a gift to a 1 or a 2-year-old and you unwrap it, and you set the toy out, but they're more interested in the packaging and the tissue
absolutely.
paper and the bag than they are the toy.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. All right, so don't even give them a toy. Just go. No, I'm serious. Their toy is the packaging.
It's the stuff. Yeah.
All right. It's 8:31 on News Talk 1079. Going to take a break for the news, and we will be back just a few minutes from now. All right. I had to get to the head bobbing part of it here, Julie. It's 8:37 on News Talk 1079, and we want to bring onto the program Mike Colson, who is the chair of the Bonneville County Republican Central Committee, and a couple of big events coming up that he wanted to chat about. Mike, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, good to have you on. Now, you're having your meeting, but there's also like a legislative forum that's coming up that you'd like to let our listeners know about.
Yeah, that's correct. So tonight at the Snake River Event Center at the Shiloh Inn, we will have Senator Mark Harris, Representative Josh Wheeler, and Representative Kevin Andrus with us. We've asked them to come into the Central Committee's meeting to speak to us a little bit about the legislative session that just finished and kind of give their impressions of what went on in the session. So this will be a good opportunity. We're welcoming the public to come in and observe the proceedings. They'll be speaking to our precinct committee officers, and those precinct committee officers will be asking them, I'm sure, some questions of things that concern them. And that it will be tonight starting. The meeting will start at 6:30. We're going to try to get the legislators going at 6:45, and we'll be doing that for probably close to an hour of some good Q&A with them. So we're really excited to have them there. And then the second item is May 2nd, also at the Snake River Event Center. We'll be having our Lincoln Day event. It'll be a multi-county event with Jefferson County, Bingham County, and Bonneville County. And you can find out a little bit more about Lincoln Day if you go to BonnevilleGOP.com, and you can also buy your tickets there. And if there's anyone has any questions, they can call us at 208-497-1211. Again, that's 208-497-1211. And our email is our website is BonnevilleGOP.com. And we would really encourage Eastern Idaho Republicans to come out and support those central committees. We'll have Secretary Phil McGrain as one of our keynote speakers. I know that the governor's office has confirmed that he'll be there, and so we're looking forward to having a really good event and a good opportunity for all of the Republicans in this area to come together.
So it's probably expecting a lot of comments about the legislative session, because I know that there were laws regarding voting, and I'm sure the governor will talk about a lot too that happened. I'm sure you're probably expecting that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that there will be a lot of interest in kind of deciphering what did this session mean, and what are some of these laws that were passed. What do they portend for the state? But that's what it's all about. It's about having that conversation, and so we're really excited about it.
Okay. All right. Well, Mike, thank you for checking in this morning, and good luck tonight, and also with the upcoming Lincoln Day.
Great. Thanks very much, Neal.
All right. Take care, Mike. All right. 208-542-1079.
Okay. Good information there.
Yeah. Julie, Adam Schiff stopped by the studio this morning.
I know. It was so good to have him in studio. And, we might not always agree, but it's good to have conversations.
Yeah, it really is. We took a picture. We took a selfie. We didn't really want to put it on the News Talk Facebook page, but we did put it on the Neal and Julie Facebook page.
Yes, if you want to see it, go to the Neal and Julie Facebook page, and you'll get a picture of us with Adam Schiff.
You know what? A couple of people have said they feel like when they look at the picture that it looks like a watermelon with googly eyes and a pencil coming out the bottom.
I don't know how they're seeing that, but okay.
If I close one eye and look kind of at an angle, I can kind of see what they're saying.
See where they're coming from.
Yeah. But anyways. It's a good picture,
We're
though.
imps.
We are. And I didn't realize, but Adam Schiff has one eye lower than the other.
Well, Well, everybody does. Your face isn't, symmetrical. You have a female side and a male side, so it's okay.
That's true. And there's not a discernible nose or mouth on his face either, at least in our picture. So
that explains it why he didn't have much to say when he was here.
Yeah. That might be. All right. It's 8:42 on News Talk 1079. You know what, Julie? I still have not gotten out to Town and Country Garden to get my 4-step lawn. Now, you're looking at me with that look of disapproval.
No, I'm looking at you like, you got to get this done.
I know I do, because it is April, and March, April is the window. It's just been a busy week and a hectic week.
Yeah, I get it. Totally get it.
I will pop out there as soon as I'm done today, and I'll get the stuff. It's super easy. I walk through the front door, and I yell, "Where's the 4-step lawn program?" And then somebody comes and asks me if I've taken my medication, and then they lead me over to the pallets where the 4-step lawn program is.
Well, I was going to say, here's what's playing in your favor, is that even if you wanted to do it last week and didn't get it done, but you're going to do it this week, it's so quick. It's not like you need to set aside an entire afternoon to do it. That's not how this works.
Right.
It is very simple to get these steps on. And if you buy all 4 steps together, then you do get a discount on the overall price. So just go in to Town and Country Gardens, have an idea of how much square footage you have of lawn so that you know how much to buy. Someone can help you figure that out. If you just bring your square footage in and you look at them and go, tell me how much I need, they're going to help you get what you need.
Yeah.
And then you put on the first step right now, sometime this week or next week or so. And then you set alarms for the remaining 3 steps. Super easy.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4 happen at regular intervals through the summer and the fall. And you will love the results that you get from your lawn. As Julie said, it's formulated for this area. Just water your lawn like you're supposed to water your lawn. And you will be like, wow, I'm glad I listened to Neal and Julie.
And then your neighbors will start asking, why is your grass so green?
Which, you know what, they're not in every context do people say, wow, I'm glad I listened to Neal and Julie. But this is one area where you will be happy about that.
They will be happy.
So, Town and Country Gardens, south of Idaho Falls, across from the big malt plant on the Yellowstone Highway.
There you go.
I am trying to be good.
You're doing right. I think it's perfect.
Okay. All right. Should we take a break?
Sure.
Okay. I'm trying to think, what is the best way, before I take the break, to characterize this segment? Because I don't want to be off-putting about the Trump deranged people who ran around with
You're not off to a good start.
Who ran around with their hair on fire because the Dow dropped. I mean, I want to invite them with honey. I don't want to invite the TDS deranged people with vinegar to call in.
Who drive Subarus and have
some of them may
multicolored hair. And
although I will say I've been a little surprised at the number of conservatives that also drive Subarus.
Oh, there are. I hope they accept that joke tongue in cheek. It's like how you and I accept jokes that people have of Mormons. Accept jokes about Subarus. It's okay.
Some really solid conservatives eat hummus, too, which is weird.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's
but
really,
so good.
Really strange, but it happens. Anyway, so I mean, I'm glad that they're probably breathing a huge sigh of relief, and they're probably filled to the brim with gratitude to President Trump for bringing the Dow back. I mean, I would say if it was his fault that it went down significantly a couple of days ago, it's also to his credit that it came back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
especially after he tweeted and then it happened.
This is a two-way street, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. So it'll be the gratitude line.
Okay.
The gratitude and remorse line. Or the gratitude line. I don't know. We're working on it. We'll flesh through this. We'll figure it out. We'll get the verbiage right here. I just want to hear from them. You know,
I'm not sure this business idea is going to float.
I want to give them the space that they need to share whatever's on their heart today.
All right.
It's 8:47. We'll be back on News Talk 1079. It's 8:51 on News Talk 1079. Neal Larson and Julie Mason. 208-542-1079 is the number if you'd like to join us. I swear I am not rubbing it in, but this was reported on Fox News yesterday.
Moving markets right now is a brand new Truth Social out from President Trump. The Dow is surging now up 1,500 points on this. President Trump has just put out a Truth Social saying, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the U.S. to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called reps of the United States, including the Department of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the U.S. And here's the big news grabbing the headlines. I've authorized a 90-day pause, capital letters, and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. He finishes with, thank you for your attention on this matter. That's a new Truth Social, John, out from the president moments ago. The market's obviously reacting to.
Okay, so if you listen to Secretary Bessent, he said this was Trump's plan all along. Mm-hmm. Which is a sort of a fascinating thing for him to say, because if you reverse engineer that, what you're saying is Trump never intended to slap really strong tariffs on these nations unless they were going to do retaliatory tariffs. And so, but I think Trump knew all along, look, if you'll call us up and say, we want to come to the table, we want to negotiate, because we don't want we don't want a tariff war with you, then Trump knew, even going into it, that there was going to be a pause. Maybe he knew it was 90 days, maybe not, but he knew that it'd be like, okay, now I've got their attention. Now we can sit down at the table. Now we can work in alleviating some of the concerns that we have about the imbalance in our trade relationships.
You know, Trump referenced yesterday that we are a very impatient people. This was basically 5 days of trading from the time that he announced. He called it Liberation Day, right?
Yeah.
And then exactly a week later, he put out this Truth Social. So it was 5 days of business trading. And he said yesterday, man, you guys aren't resilient. It was 5 days. How you can't handle 5 days of a little bit of turbulence to get to a better end?
Yeah.
You know, and it made me think about COVID-19. All of these liberals were willing to hole up in their houses, wear masks on their face, not visit their families, let their loved ones die in nursing homes alone, cancel weddings, all of it for months on end. But you couldn't do 5 days of difficult markets?
Yeah. Yeah. Julie, I talked about something in a monologue earlier this week. We try to teach our kids all the time the idea of short-term pain for long-term gain. Mm-hmm. Do some really hard things right now so that you have a better situation down the road. It's why we exercise. It's why we go to school. It's why we go to college. It's why we get training. It's why, I mean, there's so many examples of let's go through something really hard right now because there will be benefits on the other side. But you have so many, nearly all Democrats, nearly the entire legacy media, and a shockingly large number of Republicans completely forgot that principle full on. Mm-hmm. And they lost their ever-loving minds because Donald Trump, as the master negotiator that he is, put this thing in motion. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if I've fully cracked the Donald Trump code, but I will bet you that most of our relationships with these countries will be resolved long before this 90-day deadline comes along.
I would agree. Yep.
I don't think we're ever going to get there with most of these countries because they're like, I see what he's doing to China. I see Canada tried retaliatory tariffs. That didn't turn out well. Maybe us feeding at the gravy train, maybe it's over to some degree. But let's have a good relationship with the U.S. because they are a massively big customer of ours.
Yes, yeah. I don't think this has been bump-free. When I sit here and say we weren't resilient, and I quote Trump and that we were a soft group of people through these 5 days. I do think we were a soft group of people through the 5 days, but it also wasn't bump-free. Like, there was some difficulties, and I think there's more difficulties down the road. My response to that is welcome to life.
Amen. That's what I was saying. Is like, who has that expectation?
Yeah, the economy is not going to have an ebb and a flow, that the economy, that somehow you're not going to have to feel a little pain every once in a while.
Yeah.
Geez, I'd love to know what reality you get to reside in, because that hasn't been my reality for 52 years.
It would. And you know what? Maybe we'll hear more on that perspective during our gratitude and remorse segment next hour. Okay, we have a caller. Caller, you literally have about a minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. We share a simple border with Canada, just to the north, and I think the reaction from China was almost the same reflexive action as Canada, and that has opened my eyes to a much bigger problem at our northern border. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for the call.
Okay. We've got a little bit of pushback from people saying the Dow and the S&P and the NASDAQ are both down or all three are down today. Yep. We're reporting on what happened yesterday. It's going to go down today. It'll probably go up tomorrow. Welcome to the markets.
It was up historically. If they didn't catch the joke, I am mocking this hair-on-fire approach to a volatile stock market. Whichever direction it goes. We're still going to do the gratitude and remorse segment because I think it's funny. Hour 2 coming up. And we are back. Hour 2. That should have been in a podcast. Hour 2. Underway.
Well, I did have stuff recording on my computer. The mics weren't up, so we're probably not got it. But that would have been a great podcast episode.
Yeah, the mics are down. Anyway, we're back on News Talk 1079. So, Julie, I think right out of the gate, I just want to open it up because I know there are some people. I know apparently the Dow is down a few hundred points right now. S&P down 163. Dow is down almost 1,000. NASDAQ's down as well. But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Haven't we learned over the last couple of days? There's no reason to panic.
Yes. Yeah. What I would challenge people to do is look at trending market over like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That will actually really help you put it into perspective.
Yeah, that's true. So my mind is drawn back to a trip we took to Oregon years ago.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but me being me and me being the dad that I am, anytime someone would say something negative, like, Dad, can we stop to use the bathroom?
So negative.
I would be like, the trip is ruined. And then would stop and use the bathroom. And then they'd be like, hey, Dad, there's a 7-Eleven and I want a slushie. And I'd be like, the trip is perfect. So every little detail that might be negative or inconvenient, the trip is ruined. And every little bright spot, the trip is perfect. I feel like people are emotionally swerving right now with whatever's happening with that little arrow and the number beside it.
Yes.
Stop that crap, okay? It's okay. It's going to go down. People are going to snag up the bargains. It's going to come back up. And in the long run, you all are going to be just fine.
Yeah. Somebody sent a text that said, I think it's important to remember that stocks don't drop from tariffs. They drop from people freaking out about tariffs.
That's a very good point. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is. So, so far...
I can't believe nobody's called.
The gratitude and remorse line from people. Now, it is complicated by the fact that the Dow is down again. So they're out there putting lighter fluid in their hair and starting it on fire. Yeah. So they're probably not going to be calling the show today. So,
did you want to read the one that somebody sent in?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
You know what? I love how we are integrating the show using AI, and now our listeners are integrating AI as well. So they wrote, Neal and Julie, I use ChatGPT to see how a lefty might apologize for Trump's success. See below. And then they put the prompt. And a fake apology from a lefty. Sigh. Okay, fine. I'll say it. Some of Trump's policies worked. There, I said it. Happy now? Yes, I spent 4 years clutching my ethically sourced pearls, posting rage tweets from my iPhone made in China, and scoffing at every orange-tinted press conference. But now I have to admit begrudgingly that maybe a few of those economic numbers weren't just a coincidence. The border policies, harsh, yes, but the numbers did dip. Excuse me. The tax cuts? Ugh. Corporations hoarded a lot of it, but employment did rise for a bit. And let's not talk about the Abraham Accords. I wanted to call them a fluke, but that peace thing is inconveniently good PR.
God, PR. That's what it is. It's just PR.
Yeah. So here I am crawling on metaphorical broken glass, offering a tepid, barely audible, maybe he wasn't 100% wrong 100% of the time. Now excuse me while I go cleanse my soul by binge watching The West Wing. And then apparently ChatGPT asked, do you want it snarkier, more dramatic, or a version from a centrist? And then our listener said, snarkier. And ChatGPT said, oh, absolutely. Here's the snark turned up to 11.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, keep going.
A deeply reluctant and utterly snarky apology from a lefty about Trump's policies, quote, working. Dear America and my kombucha brewing circle, it pains me deeply to say this, but I've just come back from a weekend retreat where I meditated on painful truths. And somewhere between sipping oat milk lattes and rage-scrolling Twitter, it hit me, some of Trump's policies actually worked. Ugh, even typing that made my avocado toast curl up in protest. Yes, I spent 4 years calling him Cheeto Mussolini and yelling fascism every time he opened his mouth. But then jobs went up, the stock market didn't collapse, and somehow peace treaties started popping up in the Middle East like gluten-free muffins at a co-op bakery. Pretty good. I mean, how dare he achieve something that didn't immediately implode? The man thought bleach was a cure and tweeted like a sleep-deprived raccoon, yet here we are looking at charts and realizing not everything he touched turned to gold-plated garbage. So on behalf of the resistance, I offer this begrudging, heavily qualified, eye-roll-infused apology. Maybe a couple of things sort of kind of worked, but don't get cocky. Now, please excuse me while I go scream into my NPR tote bag.
You know what is so...
It's not bad.
It's not... Oh, it's good. ChatGPT did a great job. You know what? I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, my favorite part that actually has legitimacy is maybe a couple of things sort of kind of worked, but don't get cocky. I actually don't have a problem with that saying with people saying that to Trump.
Yeah.
Saying don't get cocky. I get that things worked. Don't push this tariff thing too far. I'm perfectly fine with them saying that. But what that takes is a rational person to go, yep, some of it worked.
Yeah.
And yesterday we talked about if you get a 70-30 return on this tariff thing, that's phenomenal.
It's great.
And
it's
I don't know why people are, it's either all or nothing. That is not business.
Well, it's not. But these are the same people, Julie, that there are 195 countries. I don't know if we're one of them. Like, I don't know if there's 196 or 195. But let's say there's 195 other countries. If Trump only gets 193 of them, they will gripe and moan and biatch about the other two that he didn't get.
Yeah.
And that's who they are. That just says what they're about. So when things go well, they shut their mouths and they act like nothing's going on. But when things are horrific, they are all active on their stupid social media accounts, sharing memes from Occupy Democrats and whatever else, lefty blog they can find. And it just gets old. It's like, you know what? It's complicated. It's tough to run America. It's not always bump free. And you got to stop acting like it should be.
Yeah. Okay. So the stock market is down today. Okay. Okay. If you're a person who's got some money to invest, today'd be a good day to do it.
Yeah.
And you'll be happy tomorrow because it'll be up.
Yeah, it will. It's going to, because somebody did text in. They clearly didn't hear the opening point that we were making this hour. The stock market's down. Well, yeah, that's sort of the whole point here.
That happens all the time, by the way.
Yeah.
We're just paying attention to it this morning.
And I'll say it again. Stop hitching your emotional state to the Dow or the S&P or the NASDAQ. Just let it ride. Make solid decisions about selling or buying, but don't let it ruin your day.
Yeah.
Lecture over?
Well, no, I think it's just a good reminder. I don't even mean it lecturing, because there's other things like that I have to check myself on. I'm not checking myself on tariffs. I'm all right. I live a financially sound enough life that I'm all right with that. But there's other things I've had to check my emotional, temperature gauge on. Yeah. I've mentioned it on air when the initial round of layoffs happened, and there was this inner, oh my goodness, I really feel bad for these people that was pegging.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I lose my mind and go down and protest by the river. It means I understand that, guess what? That could happen to just about anybody in this nation. That no job is guaranteed. Your business isn't guaranteed. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So we all live under this concept that your contract of consumerism can end at any given point. And so nothing is owed to you. Nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
And lots of people have to pivot, including... I've pivoted. You've pivoted. We left jobs. I've changed careers. My husband started a business. This is reality. So if you worked a government job and you think you were solid with that golden ticket for eternity, that's actually on you, not on everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? They apply that to every federal worker that has been let go, even during their probationary period, whatever. They feel like there should never be anything bad happen to anyone, and nobody should ever have to go through anything hard.
Mm-hmm. So I had to check my emotional gauge there, right? I can feel bad for those people because now they're going to be in an uncomfortable spot, and they might have to move. They might have to change their life. They might have to do something that wasn't in their 10-year plan.
Yeah.
But guess what? COVID wasn't in anyone's 10-year plan. Nobody's, except the people that pulled the levers.
Yeah.
It was definitely in their 10-year plan, and everybody else had to suffer the consequences. So welcome to reality.
Yeah, it's how it rolls. So I'm a little concerned nobody's taken advantage of the gratitude and remorse line this morning.
I'm not shocked.
Yeah. I thought we'd have one courageous one out there.
No, it's not going to exist.
Just one. That's all I'm asking for. It's wide open. Look, if you love Trump, do not call the show. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear from you right now. I want to hear from the Trump deranged whose emotional states are hitched to the stock market, but only during Trump. That's what's weird.
That's what I said. You should look at market history. And that might help you evaluate your emotion.
Okay, here's Trump truly occupies their. Have you ever, Julie? I have friends on Facebook that I don't believe I've ever met in real life. Mm-hmm. Just because I'm the most famous talk show host in the world.
Gosh, you are.
So what? I say that humbly. But I love all my Facebook friends. All right. But I've friended them, and it's different perspectives. I don't put much politically on my personal Facebook page because I need a safe harbor. It's a great place to go to be share dad jokes. Although you accused me of being the doofus in the progressive ad commercial, so I'm not sharing dad jokes.
Okay, I said it much nicer than that, and I asked you to not. I said, don't stop sharing.
Oh, don't stop doing that. Okay. All right. I'll try not to. Anyway, so I have
what
these.
What did you have for breakfast?
I don't know. I just put a little meth in the eggs. Not much. No, I didn't.
How many sodas have you had this morning? What is going on?
You know what? That's a HIPAA violation. You can't ask me that. That's about my health. Okay? And I am offended that you would put me on the spot like that. Anyway.
It won't be the last time.
Oh, I know that. Man, do I know that. So I have these Facebook friends, and they're lefties, and it's great. I'm fine. Like, I will say, I will snooze them sometimes. Because I'm like, you know what? 7 memes in 4 hours might be a little much. I'm going to snooze you for 30 days. I rarely unfriend someone. Once in a while, I unfollow. More and more frequently, I will snooze. Anyway, if you go to their page, not just what pops up on your feed, but you go to their page, you start scrolling. Trump derangement is a real thing. Like almost every post they have is an anti-Trump, orange man bad themed meme. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why are you that obsessed with Donald Trump? And why do you let him affect your mental state so much?
And that's the interesting thing, because I was going to say politics means a lot to people. It's obviously meant a lot to you your entire life. You began this journey clear back when you were a preteen. It's obviously meant a lot to you. You're not one note, though. You can actually talk policy. These people who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, it's like a microcosm. Like they're narrowed clear down and in. They're not even talking politics anymore. They are just focused on the hatred of a man, and that's it.
Yeah, it's true. And that's all it is. And there's part of me, I don't let myself get irritated by it. I'm almost entertained by it, but I actually feel pity toward them for it. That they have put that much of their emotional well-being into who's in the White House and what that person in the White House is doing.
Yeah.
Like I understand if you disagree with Trump. That's America. You know, we have the right to
disagree with Trump sometimes.
Yeah, right. And that's fine. There's no but there is a level of consistent posting, communicating, and obsession with Donald Trump. And I don't know if it'll ever show up in that DSM manual that defines mental disorders, but I really think there is something clinical about Trump derangement syndrome. It's a joke to us. We laugh it off. It's a way to mock the other side. But I really think there is something psychologically going on in their minds where everything bad that happens to them, they make a connection to Donald Trump. Somehow, it's Donald Trump's fault that they're sad. It's Donald Trump's fault that they had something unfortunate happen economically to them, or that they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or whatever it is. Their mind finds a pathway to assign a portion of the blame, if not all, to Donald Trump.
Yes. I think it's more than Trump derangement syndrome. I think we're seeing this this hyper fixation on things that change your entire lifestyle. We're seeing it in other things. The Palestine-Israel conflict. People who have no business even talking about that have leveraged their life on that conflict.
Yeah.
Weird.
And
weird.
Many of them, Julie, if you were to sit down and give them not even a super comprehensive quiz, but just a 20-question quiz about some of the basics of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, they couldn't pass that quiz. They don't even know what they're arguing. They're just programmed to side with one side and to oppose with hatred the other.
Mm-hmm. It's so bizarre to me. You're a 27-year-old female who lives in Ammon, Idaho, and you think you can correctly identify the emotions of people who live in the Middle East who have generational trauma due to religious wars, but you're going to be the expert. 27-year-old in Ammon, Idaho. Sure.
Yeah. And what's crazy about that is that 27-year-old's probably grandparents lived at a time when a dictator wiped out 2/3 of the Jewish population.
Right.
But yet
she knows more.
She knows more than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's wild. It's there. Yeah, it's weird. It's a program thing. All right, 9:25 on News Talk 107.9. Julie's talked a little too much, so we've got to take a break really quick here. But we'll be. I love that you're just laughing at that. We'll be right back after this. 208-542-1079. Hello, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook. It's not very often I say this phrase. I think it's hot in here today. I'm warm.
It's only 78. Usually it has to get like 87 before you're like, oh,
I know.
I'm a little warm.
That's weird.
Menopause. Excuse me. I had to cough.
I'm still perimenopausal, but I have had some hot flashes. This is definitely not a hot flash.
Oh, it's not.
And for men who make fun of women who have them regularly, man, I feel bad for those women. Can I explain it?
Yeah.
It starts about in your core and the rush of heat. It is like someone has lit a match and it has gone and it comes up out the top of your head.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's very quick within 15 seconds.
Okay.
That heat pushes, comes up and out and through your head, which is why you see women sweating on their heads so much. Not necessarily like their armpits or whatever. A lot of it's in their head because that rush, I don't know what that is. I don't know why.
And you've had that a couple of times?
A couple of times. It's woken me up maybe a half a dozen over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But there are women that have them all day long. It's really sad. Like I feel bad, very bad for them.
That is rough. I'm sorry if you felt ridiculed. It was.
Oh, no.
It was more just a joke of opportunity.
Half the population is going to go through everything I'm going through. So what I actually wish, I think women should be resilient enough to laugh about it because it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
I really wish there was just more research being done to help people who really have severe symptoms from it. That's what I wish.
Yeah.
Craig says he thinks you put the wrong mushrooms in your scrambled eggs. It wasn't meth.
Yeah, maybe.
Is it really 52 degrees outside?
I don't. Sometimes I have stock prices. Sometimes I have the temperature.
Oh, it says 43. I just ran over it and changed it on my computer. It says 43, but it could be warmer in a couple of other places. It could be up to 50 somewhere.
47 on my computer.
There you go. Great.
Ooh, a high of 71 today, 74 tomorrow.
Perfect day for you to put down your lawn program.
Yeah.
Yay.
See, that's why I was waiting. I wanted to put it down when it was 70-something.
I'm excited for you.
It wasn't procrastination. It was planning.
You bet.
I'll say this on the air, but my joke is going to be, I think Rex should rebrand his U-Mates, and it should be the Bow Chicka Bow Wow brand.
Tinder approved.
Yeah.
Tinder stamp of approval.
Yeah, lawn Tinder. You know, the weekend it's going to cool down, like Sunday 51, Monday 60, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're back up in the 70s, Julie. Friday of next week, 76. I bet that could change. We could hit 80 degrees next week.
Those are my favorite temperatures to walk in. I did almost 6 miles yesterday. It was great, except the wind was blowing.
9:30 on News Talk 1079. So, Julie, we have some unsolicited advice for Rex at Town and Country.
Uh-huh.
He needs to market his Humates. It shouldn't say Humates. It should say Bow Chicka Bow Wow.
Got it.
Lawn Bow Chicka Bow Wow.
Bow Chicka Wow Wow.
Because that's what will get all the microbes and everything. They love that, and they just start, having a party.
You know how you can buy a greeting card with a recorded message in it?
Yeah.
The bag could have a little button that you push, and it could go, wow, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, wow, wow. Like the bag could talk to you.
Right. That would be great.
I like it.
I like that idea, too. Anyway, it's very easy. You get the Humates, get the right amount for your lawn, and if you know how big your lawn is, they can help you find the right amount at Town and Country Gardens. You put that down. For most people, it's just going to take a few minutes. You just use your spreader and you go over your lawn, water it like normal. In a few more weeks, you're going to add step 2. That's some lawn food and fertilizer that's perfect for our soils and for the time of year that you'll be in. And then you just, as Julie said, set some alarms on your phone for the proper times, put it down. I bet your total time investment for the entire summer and fall with the 4 steps might be 2.5 hours. Like it's not much time at all to lay this stuff down, and you will love the results that you see in your lawn.
Yeah, this is why when we talk about the 4-step program, we never say don't feel like you missed a window. There's no window to miss.
No, you can catch up.
Just go get it, get caught up. You're clearly in the first step window right now. So sometime over the next week or so, make sure you visit Town and Country Gardens. Grab that. Then you'll have it all in your garage so you don't have to worry about the trip. And you just put it down when it's necessary.
I do want to add, while you're there, go over to the rack with all the seeds. Grab the seeds you know you'll need, because sometimes there's a run on those. Especially, I was looking at the forecast, Julie, in the next couple of weeks. Lots of sunshine, lots of 70-plus degree temperatures, and that means those seeds are going to be flying off the shelf. So grab those while you're getting your 4-step lawn program.
And I know that we've talked about a lot today, but about Town and Country Garden. But I want to remind everybody, if you have raised flower beds or raised garden beds, you need to treat that soil. Mm-hmm. And so ask the experts at Town and Country. They'll help you get the right fertilizer for that soil.
Okay, I know we've talked a lot about this. Speaking of that, I am going to make an attempt again this year to raise tomatoes, grow tomatoes. They're not livestock, but
I'm naming them. They've got birth certificates and everything.
Okay, we're going to grow tomatoes in buckets. I like doing that because you can put them inside and extend your season. So I messed up a couple of years ago because Rex asked me, because they didn't thrive at all. They didn't do well. I'm not sure I put any fertilizer in the soil. So they didn't do great. I didn't know why. I think I did one application. But he said in buckets, you're putting so much water on them, it kind of filters the nutrients out. So you have to fertilize every few weeks. You want to put some fertilizer in. So
treat that soil.
I'm going to redo that, and then I'm just going to keep our listeners updated throughout the summer on how it's going. And then we're going to have a big salsa party at the end of the summer.
Sounds delicious. Yep. That's Town and Country Gardens, south of Idaho Falls on the Yellowstone Highway. You can see them directly across from the malt plant.
Okay, it's 9:34. Let's take a break, shall we? Okay. All right, 208-542-1079 is the Stones Automotive Group call and text line. We'll be back after this. Okay, we should do a flash poll. What should we do a flash poll about? Help us out, Facebook. What should we do a flash poll on? It could be about the Bernie event coming up Monday in Nampa. It could be about the stock market and the tariffs. Maybe we just have an open, like a best 10 seconds, your thoughts on the tariffs. Are you supportive of what Trump's doing with the tariffs?
We could do that.
You want to do that? I think that would get some good reaction.
Yeah. Somebody said, dad joke. What do you have when you have 3 brown chickens and 1 brown cow?
I don't know.
Brown chicken, brown chicken, brown chicken, brown cow.
Okay, that is the guy in the progressive. But it's funny. I like
it. Early girl. Okay, so you're getting unsolicited tomato advice.
Yeah.
Donna says early girl tomatoes do well in containers like buckets.
Early girl. Okay.
Yeah. Make sure you add some Epsom salt.
Really?
Okay. Who knew? I have 0 green thumb. 0. So I'm just going to read your text. I have no input. Jeff said he's never had luck putting tomatoes in buckets. He's always gotten a lot better results not having them in a bucket.
I've had great results in the garden box, but
okay,
I want to try the buckets because I want to use the garden boxes for other stuff.
Okay.
So early girl, this pen's a piece of trash.
There's one right here. Fresh salsa is my favorite salsa. I do, it has a name, cowboy salsa, I think is what people call it. With black beans, tomatoes, corn, avocado.
Okay, who is giving the tomato advice?
Good. Donna.
I have a question for you, Donna. If you use the Epsom salt, do you also need to put fertilizer into your soil for the tomatoes?
Yeah, it's Epsom salt combined.
Yeah.
With a fertilizer.
Or is the Epsom salt alone enough?
Our early girl, like Big? Because what are you going to grow? Are you going to grow Romas, like a different, are you going to grow big? You're going to grow cherry? You're going to grow all different kinds? What are you going to grow?
We really like cherry tomatoes, so I may do a bucket with cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
Aren't Romas like best for salsa? Like, don't
they are really good for salsa. They're the ones that are kind of oval.
Yeah. Okay. Early girls. Oh, yeah. These look like really good, big, fat, plump tomatoes.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm looking for the early girls.
Donna says duplicate. So Epsom and fertilizer. You're going to do both.
Yeah.
Not duplicate.
Yeah.
Conjunction?
I don't know.
In conjunction?
My tomato buckets bring all the early girls to the yard.
He dared make fun of the joke I read. Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm working with here.
I didn't. I liked it. What? I have no idea why. I'm sleep deprived. I think sometimes a full night's sleep makes for a super boring radio show. So.
Oh, goodness. We should probably check 99.9 somehow.
Marv's here.
Okay. We did get a text about it earlier, so.
He has to go up on the mountains.
And today's the first day back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's headed up there.
Okay. Oh, what have I got going on here? Fix that. I did not realize I had a period after the word April. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, hold on. 9:40 on News Talk 1079. And we are going to have a flash poll here momentarily. Look, it was never destined to be a success to have the gratitude and remorse line. I knew it was going to be a failure going in, but I've done my due diligence in giving those TDS sufferers the opportunity to, I guess, cleanse their soul, to get it off their chest, and the freaking out they've done over the volatility of the stock market on the day after it goes back up. I understand it's back down. It's down about 1,300 points, and just, it's okay. We're on a roller coaster. It will come back. Don't panic.
Well, and that's not a ton. I know 1,300 points sounds like a lot. Well, look at how much it just changed.
No, that's the NASDAQ.
Oh, okay.
Now it's the S&P.
So they're all somewhere between 3 and 4%, it looks like.
Yeah.
That is a drop. It's a big drop. It will go back up.
Yes. Yeah, it will. It's going to be fine. So the question is, we're going to shift from the gratitude and remorse line. We are going to instead have a flash poll, best 10 seconds style, where you call in, tell us your hot take on Trump's tariffs and his tariff approach.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do right now. And the Stones Automotive Group call and text line is wide open, 208-542-1079. And we'd love your hot take on it. And you know what? We might get a nuanced take on this. We might get people saying, I kind of like it, but Trump's making me nervous. So,
look, do you remember? I think I sent you this, that Governor Whitmer, so Democrat governor of Michigan, was in the Oval Office yesterday while Trump was talking about tariffs.
Yeah.
It looks like she went live this morning and said, I understand the motivation behind the tariffs. We do need to make more stuff in America. We do need fair trade. Even Governor Whitmer is moderating on this and seeing that it's positive for America.
Yeah. You know what? All the Democrats have said it. It's just when Trump does it, it's crazy. All right. Let's go to the phones. 208-542-1079. Your hot take on Trump's tariffs.
They're unbelievable. China wants to make China with a Y. They want to make a deal. It's going to be great. We're going to get through this. Just be cool, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you. One of our callers clearly channeling Trump.
Yep.
208-542-1079. Someone, and I don't know if I sensed snark in this text or not, said, wait, so is Neal a financial advisor today? You don't have to be a financial advisor to know that the general direction of the stock market is upward over time. It goes down, it comes back up. So
That's why I'm saying if you're a person that's really, 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 really uneasy about all this, start looking at history. Watch what the stock market has done over the last 20 years. You'll calm down.
yes, you will. In the famous words of Kevin Bacon, don't panic, everything is going to be okay.
Did Kevin Bacon say that?
I was just going to ask that question.
And in what film?
I don't know.
Okay.
But now I want bacon. 208-542-1079. Here's a couple more texts. Tariffs, long overdue. So happy for a reset for my kiddos. You know what? That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
This strengthens the U.S. economy long term.
Yeah.
Freaks people out in the short term, but it's going to strengthen it for the American worker out ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
So 208-542-1079 if you'd like to join us.
Why'd you hang up? Somebody just called and then they hung.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Next caller. Caller, what do you say about Trump's tariffs?
Well, first of all, good morning, Neal and Julie. And Julie, I include you in this. It's an honor to talk to the two current excellence in broadcasting.
Oh, well, thank you.
Aw, thanks.
Yes. And, tariffs are working. They're doing just what Mr. President said. The truth be known, China has absolutely really nothing that we absolutely have to have. And they know that. And they're going to cave like a house of cards.
Okay, I gotcha. Thank you for the call. I think that's very, very likely, Julie. Okay, okay. Hold on. We're going to go to the next caller. Caller, go ahead. Well, what do you have to say?
I agree with Bacon. I've never disagreed with Bacon. Trump's doing a good job. Keep the tariffs on. Let's get a Julie for president. Neal, you can come along if you want to, but let's run that for the next presidential election.
Well, good. Thanks for letting me come along. I appreciate that.
I'll take you with me. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
208-542-1079. Caller, your hot take on the tariffs.
He's got one of my favorite singers that he's mirroring. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You go home from the dance with the guy that brung you. Trump knows what he's doing. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you for the call.
Great.
208-542-1079.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers.
Hey.
Love him.
Yeah. Hi, caller. Go ahead. Your hot tariff take.
Hey, I think the biggest thing I hear about with people saying they don't want Trump to be as president is that he's a billionaire, and we don't want billionaires running the government. But I think that's almost what we need right now is the businessman to fix all the finance stuff that we had before. And he's been bankrupt again. But he's also still a billionaire. So he clearly knows how to clean up his own mess along with other people's mess. And I think that's what we need.
Okay. Trust the process. I agree. Let's go to our next caller. Caller, your thoughts on Trump's tariffs?
I think this is going to be the beginning of the economic downfall of China. They do not have, like I said, all that many things that we don't need. I think that it's scaring them, and I think they're afraid that they're about to lose their dominant position.
Okay. All right. And this would be a conversation for another day, but does that make them more dangerous? Are they going to resort to something desperate to try to reestablish their position? I hope not. And the world hopes not, but they are who they are.
China is in a perilous place right now. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there is a perilous future for China. The way that they have controlled their population has changed what they will be able to manufacture in the upcoming decades. And so that paired with the fact that they're not going to be able to charge those massive tariffs potentially, that's uncomfortable for them. Very.
Yes, it is. If O'Reilly's correct, there's a $300 billion trade imbalance between the U.S. and China. He said, and I got to fact check this, but I don't doubt him. I mean, O'Reilly's pretty good with his research. Ireland takes more American goods than China does.
Yeah.
And they only have 5 million people. Yeah. Ireland.
Yeah, what is that? That's a little bit bigger than Idaho, and that's who's taking it.
Yeah, you're right. I know. It's crazy. So I don't know. Well,
okay.
It does. And you know what? We're funding China's military, too. We may be funding our own destruction if we let this keep going.
Yep.
Let's go back to the phones. Hi, caller. Your thoughts on Trump's tariffs?
Hi, I'm from Pennsylvania, traveling through Idaho today. I'm glad I caught your show.
Oh, thank you.
So happy that these are being put into place. We have lost so much of our wealth and our jobs to other countries, and it's high time they came back here.
Well, good. I'm curious, what part of Pennsylvania are you from?
Hour north of Philadelphia. I'm here this week for my son's graduation.
Oh, good.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh,
Yay.
that's great. I spent a couple years in Pennsylvania. I love it. I love it there. So.
Oh, whereabouts were you?
Philadelphia. Yep.
Okay, so not too far.
Yep. No, that's great. Well, good. Well, we're glad you're listening to us passing through. I do want to let you know we do have an app, and you can listen to us from anywhere, even after you leave Idaho. So.
Thank you.
All right.
Safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. 208-542-1079. Back to the phones. Caller, Trump's tariffs. What is your take?
Is it me?
It's you.
I believe that we're going to find out how dirty the left is in their cloak and dagger agreement with China. That's why they're fighting the fight.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just going to read a text that's very similar to that call. This text said, my hot take, I don't think we really know how bad it was until Trump had fixed it. That there is a potential that part of this chess game that Trump is playing is to mess around with the tariffs, is to help America, but also to unveil the horrible situation we have been put in by leadership prior to now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good way to do it. It's tearing a Band-Aid off, but it's also revealing some pretty important stuff. All right, we're going to take one last call. We don't have a lot of time here. Caller, go ahead. What's your thought?
Hi, is that me?
Yes.
All right. Well, I was telling one of my children was concerned about it because of his work, and I was telling him, this is a good strategy that Trump is doing it. And besides, like you say, the stock market, sometimes it goes down and then it goes up. I mean, people have forgotten that during Obama, especially I remember, we lost a lot of our 401k with Obama. And then with Trump, it started going up. We practically recovered and even we got more during Trump's first term. So I think that the stock market is gonna work that way. I mean, people sometimes they just worry too much. They have to wait a little bit. Like you said, there has to be some pain to gain something. The other thing is, I'm so glad that Trump is going after China because China, it was treating America like Latin American because right now China is all over the world. And taking advantage of a lot of countries. And I'm very sad. And I'm originally from Peru. And when I was there, China is taking just about all the fish, our resources, gold, silver, everything. No one is stopping China. They just go and take, and they use that against United States because that's what they are doing. They're strengthening their army, everything. So I hope that Trump keep doing what he's doing, and I think we just have to be patient.
Agreed. Thank you very much. And you think about that. Trump and America is about the only force that could stand up to China. Maybe Russia, but they're not going to because they're allies. So, All right, we're going to break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the hour just ahead right here on News Talk 107.9. All right, Facebook. So it's a double exit today because it's our staff meeting and Julie's headed out of town for the Easter weekend to spend with her kids.
Yeah,
so.
I will not be here. Is it Easter this weekend?
I think. No, it's not. It's a week from this weekend.
Okay, I was like, wow,
No,
I'm off.
You're right. Passover begins. That's what it was.
Okay, so but I'm headed to go see grandbabies, so I will be gone on Friday and Monday.
Yep.
Back on Tuesday though.
We'll miss you.
Thank you.
But enjoy it. Just relax.
Yeah. I'll miss you guys too. And I will have a lot of time in the car.
Yes.
So you'll get plenty of stories from me because there will be plenty of time to doom scroll.
Yeah, to go through. And you know what? Don't do that. Like, enjoy the scenery. And, you're driving through Arizona.
Okay.
I mean, they have the Grand Canyon, but you have to go way out of your way to see it.
Yeah. Should I stop at the Creamery in Beaver? Everybody is doing that.
Oh, I don't know.
It's this new ice cream, everything. Yeah.
in Beaver, Utah?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I know about this?
I don't know. It's supposed to be like really awesome.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, I saw that. We met as we were coming home. My daughter was headed down to Bryce Canyon. We actually stopped and ate at a Subway in Beaver because it was right by the interstate. But I remember driving by and seeing this big creamery. Like it reminded me of the Tillamook facility in Oregon on the coast.
Well, what I've heard about the creamery is that the star of the creamery is the sandwiches that you can get.
Dang it all to heck.
The ice cream's good.
Yeah.
But apparently they make these amazing sandwiches.
Why didn't we do that?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been there. I can't.
Are you going to stop there and eat today?
Sure, we could. Why not?
Try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time when I went to St. George a couple of weeks ago, my son-in-law got pulled over because they stopped at the creamery and he was going too fast through the city. And they have California plates on their car. And the cop was really cute with them and said, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, we got told the creamery's amazing, so we pulled off the freeway and we're trying to get to the creamery." And the cop was like, "All right, since you're here visiting and you're going to the creamery, let him off."
Really? Okay. Told him to slow down, but
yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, happy birthday to, I think it's Robert. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday. And then also, we should probably tell them the breaking news that the House passed the budget resolution.
Good. All right, here we go. 9:55 on News Talk 107.9. Breaking news. Julie just informed us on Facebook that the House has passed the budget resolution. So that's good news for Trump.
Yeah, great news. It was what he asked of them. I think it was his comments 2 days ago that he told them, get over yourselves and pass this. It was a 216 to 214 vote. The two representative Republicans who did not vote for it were Thomas Massie and Victoria Spartz.
Oh, really? Did they say why?
Nope. They were the lone holdouts. They were the ones who voted no.
Massey's got some libertarian leanings, so maybe it just had stuff
maybe there's
in there
something in there he doesn't love.
He couldn't get behind. And my cynical take on that is let a libertarian or two vote the way they want.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a reason we need a stronger hold in the House. That's why elections next year are very important.
That sounded terrible. But all the rest of them, vote the way I want.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that. But,
yeah.
So, okay. Julie, you are headed down to see your kids, so you'll be gone tomorrow and Monday.
I will.
But you'll be back on Tuesday.
I will. Hold the fort down. Do I need to put somebody in charge to, when you get a little out of control, to call and say, "Hey, Neal, bring it down"?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No more meth in your scrambled eggs, okay?
No. Somebody said they think it was mushrooms.
That you had the wrong kind of mushrooms in your eggs.
I don't know. Yeah. Here's what's weird. I couldn't fall asleep last night. It was probably 2 a.m. by the time I fell asleep. And my alarm goes off at 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So my alarm went off at 4 a.m. I hit the snooze button until about 4:30. That's terrible habit. I know.
Mm-hmm.
That gets Julie's lecture tisk finger every time when I say snooze.
Uh-huh.
You think it should be illegal that alarm clocks have snooze buttons?
It's not quality sleep.
I know. You're right.
So why do it to yourself?
Well, no, I get, because it feels so good to go, oh, I got 7 more minutes. That's like, I get 7 more minutes. And I know. But anyway, so I don't know what it is. When I get a little sleep deprived, something happens in my brain, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, no. It's not sustainable.
Yeah. Someone just texted that they'll keep Neal in check.
Okay, good. Well, I'm counting on you.
Okay. Well, have a good trip, Julie, and enjoy the grandkid time.
Lots of snuggles.
It's going to be fun, and time with your kids as well, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Okay.
However, I'll be back here at the salt mine tomorrow, broadcasting to all of you, and looking forward to that, and looking forward to an Open Line Friday. Up next, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton right here on News Talk 107.9.